What's up, Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of the installation of the Hirsch style spoiler and diffuser. So we have got the spoiler and the diffuser from paint, and this is how it looks. So the spoiler is amazing. I have started to tape up a little bit where it should sit. So in a little while we are going to remove the spoiler and sand down the paint so that the adhesive will have a good surface to tack to. So this is the preferred glue or adhesive that you should use according to Hirsch. So Sikaflex 221 it is, together with some clamps for the diffuser to hold it in place. And the spoiler we are just going to tape down after we have applied the adhesive, and maybe we will try to work something out so we tape some rolls onto it or something to keep the pressure down a little bit and really tape it off, because this paintwork is so slippery. So the first tape that I was using didn't stick to it, it just fell off. This electrical tape seemed to stick a little bit at least. So I have a little bit of guidelines where to put it. So we're gonna start to sand this down and prep the area where it should sit. And yeah, we also have the diffuser that looks amazing. So I went with gloss black. And this is super gloss black, you can see the reflection. The painter did an amazing job.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
So now we have sanded the surface of where the diffuser should attach, and we have prepared some rivets. So the first thing to do is to put it in place and install the rivets. Then just have the diffuser hanging out a little bit, then put the glue in and then press it up against the body. So what I'm going to do, or the instruction is, put the rivets in all the places, have the holes pre-drilled, And when the rivets are in, you should just apply the glue all around the edges, not the edges but the inner panel all the way. So I'm gonna apply some glue here before to make it stick and sit really tight. So it's not only the rivets holding it in, so it's even a little bit of glue here. Then put the rivets in, keep it hanging out a little bit, apply the glue and push it in place, and just fix it up against the rear spoiler with the clamps that I had. You should not clamp them too hard, otherwise there will be some marks on the paint. Should be pretty easy to buff out, but to make it easier, just don't keep them too tight. So I'm sorry, I forgot to push the rec button when I put the rivets in, but it's not a big deal. So the rivets go in, and you push it up, then you let go of the support, then put in some glue or adhesive and push it back in place. And normally this is done basically with tape to tape it up, but my paint is so slippery the tape won't really stick, so I use these clamps, which I screw on really carefully so it won't damage the paint. If there is some little mark, it's not a big deal. It should be easy to buff off, but you can see the fitment of the diffuser is on point. Really good fitment. No gaps or nothing, it sits flush. And at the fog lights also. So I'm really happy about this, and I'm so glad that I chose to go with the clear coat on the diffuser. I think it looks so much more modern and really fresh, and it will be a delight to detail the car and put some wax on and everything. And for the exhaust tips, I'm going to use just the standard exhaust tips. I'm gonna not choose to do the China add-ons right now. In my opinion, if you should go with these ones, I think you should like have someone TIG weld it and polish it and grind it down so it becomes one with the exhaust tip, because just taping it on I think will look real tacky. It fits really good, that's not the problem, but in some angles you will see the edge and that's not so premium. So I will go with them just open and I think that will look really dope. So now we will let this cure for like 24 hours and we will be back tomorrow, remove the clamps and install the exhaust tips. So 24 hours has passed, so now we're going to remove all the tape, all the extra weights and all the clamps, and hopefully everything will sit. Then we're going to continue with the exhaust tips. So the rear spoiler is on, looking pretty good. It's super hard to match these white colors all the time, and the lighting in here just messes things up, because when you look at the car it's like every panel doesn't match, but I bet it's just the lighting that's make things look different, the way it hits. So either way it makes a nice edge to the rear, which I really like, and also the diffuser sits perfect. Only one thing, I need to put some more glue over here. You can see that it's gapping a little bit. I didn't put enough glue. So we will bend this out, put in some more glue, then let it sit for 24 hours more. So it gets perfect, but the fitment is really good. So what I have done now, at first I said that I was going to make like brackets and weld on the tips. Now I have a new plan. So I cut out a sheet metal plate long enough so it will stretch from end to end at the spoiler. And on this side you can see that the exhaust tip sits pretty perfect. So on this side I have just drilled out 2 holes for M6ers. I will change this to other screws without a head later on, so they don't stick down. But for now this will do. So one M6 here and the other one over here. So that holds the bracket into place. Then I drilled 2 holes for rivets over here. So I'm going to paint this with some rust protection and some black paint. Then I'm just gonna attach it again. Just install it and then put the rivets in, and that will hold the exhaust tip really sturdy in place. And there is not going to be any weight on this exhaust tip. The exhaust is going to hang freely inside of it. So I think this is a really good solution, because now the tip is on and it sits really good. And if you want to, you can remove it by just loosen the screws or drill out the rivets. And no welding needed, so I think this is very much the best solution to fit this. And it just happens to fit really good, laying inside of the spoiler here and inside of it here, so that keeps it in place. And if it should by any means get a little bit loose, you can just bend this up to make it fit tighter, but now it sits up against the body of the car and this will not go anywhere. I can tell you that. You need a lot of violence and excessive force if you want to remove this. Yeah, so that's basically it. Now I'm going to paint my homemade brackets. Then we will install it and put the car back on the ground. So a little more glue solved this problem. So now it sits flush all the way. Really good. And as I said before, the fitment is like perfect. Everything sits really good. And I have not grinded a bit, or not grinded but sanded a bit to get the fitment perfect. The fitment came like this from Toonstyle. The only thing I have done is sanded out and fit the exhaust pipe, since this is not the original. This is the Volvo exhaust tips. So fitment overall super good. No modifications at all. Just push it in and glue it on. Put the rivets in and you're done. So I have painted the brackets so they won't rust straight away. So now we're just gonna put them in, then lower the car and take it out and see how it looks. So this is the final result and how it came out to be. So the black painted bracket, and I also painted the screws black so they won't like stick out and be a detail underneath the car that you will notice. So now everything is black. Next up will be the exhaust out on each side. So as for right now it will just be blank, but there is plenty of space to fill out with the exhaust. So I won't put like this that they usually do, like this little super tiny pipe that you will notice. I will build 2.5 inch and then I will squeeze it together so we will get like, not exactly like this one, but it will be like an egg or an ellipse inside of it, so it won't be this tiny pipe. So let's put it to the ground and take it out and see how it looks. Today guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think the result is looking amazing, really good for what it is. I think we got a really clean look, and it would have been really nice to sit this car beside an original and this fake one, and see if you can tell the difference and which looks the best. So that will probably be in an upcoming video, and I have some exciting news for next week to come. So to be the first to get this news, I suggest that you follow me on Instagram, and if you don't have an Instagram account, get one, because you don't want to miss this. So stay tuned for the next video, subscribe to the channel, it means a lot to me. Comment if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!